Well, I can't believe it, but 2023 is almost a wrap. We've got the new year coming up here in a few weeks. So in this video, we'll take a look back at my top 5 favorite outings. We'll look at some of my favorite photos that I took throughout 2023. And at the end, I'll give you a little bit of a peek into some of my goals, not only as a photographer for 2024, but also for the channel here and what we got coming up. So enjoy a look back on 2023. Off today to go about an hour and a half away to the little town of Wilcox, where we are hoping to see about 500 to 1,000 Sandhill cranes. So that'll be interesting. And yeah, we are on our way. It's our really only main goal for the day today. But yeah, see what else we see along the way as well. So, off we go. So as we're heading down I-10, heading toward this little town of Wilcox, it's this little town right off the highway with this golf course. That's where all these Sandhill cranes fly back into right around lunchtime. And that is the time that we had kind of gone down this little side road, and my dad kept asking if I see them flying in like up above. And so I literally got my head out the window of the car and I'm trying to look up, and sure enough, I see these little black dots. And then I see more of them and more of them, and I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, there's so many of them. So we timed it perfect that we got there when all these flocks were coming back right around lunchtime at this little golf course, and it was total chaos. I had no idea how hard it was going to be to shoot this scene because it was so chaotic. I was just like, wait, do I go in tight? You know, I've got this big 200 to 600 millimeter lens, and there's just all these cranes everywhere. Like I said, I'm going left and I'm going right, and I'm trying to zoom in. Do I try to focus on one, or do I go wide and try to get the whole scene? Like, I just didn't know what to do. And what I would actually say is, even though I put this as like my number 5 experience of the whole year, I don't think I made a single good photograph because I was just so overwhelmed, I didn't know what to do. So I definitely look forward to giving another go with the cranes maybe coming up this year. So we will see, but that is my number 5 outing for the year, was the chaos of the Sandhill cranes in Wilcox, Arizona. The bulls this year were just something else. They were just crazy. Even in the earliest part of the rut, just seeing that, I think he was an 8x7, just like up in the city of Evergreen, and I just thought, wow, once I actually head up to Rocky Mountain National Park, this is gonna be crazy. There's always sort of a kind of fun between photographers, you know, like which place has the bigger bulls, Grand Tetons in Yellowstone versus Colorado and Rocky Mountain National Park. And I will say, they've beat us pretty handily, I would say, the past maybe 2 to 3 years. But this year, that trophy comes back to Colorado big time this year. So way to go, Colorado, and sorry, Wyoming. Well, I'll just say I'm glad that I decided to push up to Fort Collins, because that was sick. There's a gray morph and a red morph that were both out. So yeah, it was great. I think that's a really good shot. So I'm very glad I decided to push up here on Super Bowl Sunday. So now I'm gonna go home and watch football and drink some beer, edit some photos. I'd initially gone up to Fort Collins to see the gray screech owl that was in the cool owl-shaped hole of that tree that every photographer in Colorado had gone up and gotten a photo of. And of course, I thought it was really cool and I wanted that photo too. And I never in a million years knew that the little red morph screech owl was going to be out that day too. As I walked up, this lady who was also photographing, she looked at me and it's like, the red one. And I was like, oh, cool. And so then this whole scene unfolded and I ended up making, I think, what is one of the best wildlife shots I've ever taken. And it just was incredible. Just the timing of when I showed up and the way the light came in late in the afternoon, it just was awesome and is easily a top 5 experience for 2023, no doubt about it. It is a Saturday morning and we are heading south and east today. We are going to try to see a bird that has never been seen in Colorado before, ever. Because this bird has turned into a Colorado celebrity, so of course I want to go see it too. So I am heading out to see the Limpkin, which has been seen in this little reservoir area down by a small town called Rama. When I first got there were a bunch of other photographers around trying to find the Limpkin as well, but nobody could find it. I was patrolling looking for this Limpkin. I had my binoculars and I was scanning and scanning and scanning, and then all of a sudden, super camouflaged in this little patch of shrubs, I saw. Yeah, really good. You know, we've had a really consistent sort of couple of years of every summer we have these really wayward birds that show up. Like the summer before, that white ibis showed up and was all over Colorado, and now this summer we had the Limpkin. So of course it was awesome to see, and my number 2 outing of 2023. Greetings from freshly snowed on Colorado. Yeah, we got some fresh snow last night. I am out this morning, sort of a little frantically, on my way to photograph some long-eared owls. So I woke up this morning and was like, oh yeah, fresh snow, could make some good photos today. And I looked on eBird, and the long-eared owls, plural, were reported again. But the person who reported it put their exact, GPS coordinates of where the owls are. And I was like, oh boy. So my worry is that now that the exact location is known, a bunch of people are coming out. It's going to be a circus. And a lot of human activity around these owls will cause them to leave. And it was as I feared. As I pulled up to the spot, I see a bunch of guys over there looking at the trees on big long lenses, and I was like, oh no, all the photographers are here. Well, it turns out there were also some rare sparrows reported in the same location. So all of these guys were there looking for the sparrows, and I was like, the sparrows! I finally went down the trail where the owls were, and there was not another soul there. It was just me. I'm here in the area and we found the long-eared owl, so I'm recording some video right here in the snow. And there's a bunch of them. I had a good solid hour and a half completely alone with all of these owls, and it was just incredible. I couldn't believe it. Yep, it's barely into 2023, so it qualifies for our countdown here. It was January 2nd. So that is easily my number one outing of the year. It was one of those adventures where as I was driving home, the whole way home, I was just like, there's no way that just happened. I can't believe that just happened. Please let my shots be good. Please let them be in focus. And everything turned out. So that was my number one outing for the year. And yeah, it was incredible. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed my look back at 2023. And I think it's interesting doing sort of these look back videos because I was talking to some coworkers, just maybe about a week ago, and we were kind of talking about 2023, and we were like, yeah, this year was pretty lame. Just wasn't a lot of good things that happened in 2023. And I was like, yeah, it's a D+, C- kind of year. I don't know, it's nothing that great. But then I do something like this where I look back and I see all the things that I've saw throughout the year. And I'm like, actually, you know what? It was a pretty good year. So going through one of these things is definitely for a new, maybe fresh perspective on the year. I think I saw some pretty cool stuff this year. So I hope you enjoyed looking back at some of the highlights of my favorite stuff. And did just want to kind of go over a little bit of things about the channel. 2023 was pretty good for us. We saw some growth here. I think we are way up in watch time, but it's not translating to a lot of new subscribers. It's kind of weird. I go through little bumps up where I'll get like, 15, 20 new subs, like, within a couple weeks. And which again is a lot for me. It's a very small channel. But then we'll go flat for a while. And I don't know if it's just, I haven't really cracked that YouTube algorithm. It's also that wildlife is a very niche, very, very small sort of little part of YouTube. So it is, it's hard to break through when the audience itself is also very small. So, but again, I just do this solely as a hobby. I don't rely on this for any sort of income. So, that's a good thing, or else I'd be out on the street. But anyways, it was interesting to see some of the videos that did really well this year, like the Arizona birding trip video I put together. That did great. Got, thousands of views, and which again is good for me. The elk rut video that I did just, a month and a half ago did really well. So it's interesting because I've put a lot of effort into the elk rut video the year before, and it kind of just didn't really do much. And my California trip, I did a lot of editing on that video, and that didn't really do too well. And it's a YouTube algorithm. I think they were good videos. It's just which videos are gonna actually get recommended to people and which ones aren't. It's just so bizarre. I don't know how it works, or else all my videos would do well. But anyways, so that was kind of I think 2023 was a good year though, and kind of some of my goals coming up here for 2024 relating to the channel. One thing I can say that I have noticed is the videos that I've really taken my time on and done some given some special love, when it comes to editing, are, not surprising, the videos that do better on the channel. And I think a lot of times where if it's maybe been a week or two where I haven't put something up and I just don't have time to sit down and edit for 8 hours on a video, in my mind I'm like, well, I could just kind of throw something together here with not as much editing and just get it up on the channel, and and then those videos don't do as well. So I think something in 2024 is I'm not going to put any just sort of quick videos up. I'm not going to post things unless they are done to my standard, which, again, for me, might not be a professional video standard, but I'm not going to put videos up unless I've really taken the time on them to do some good editing. So that is something for the channel that is a goal of mine for next year. So also, I think photography-wise, I was in a pretty big photography rut about halfway through 2023, and I've mentioned this in a couple of the other videos if you've watched along, but for me, I get in a rut, or I get sort of I fall off on inspiration kind of when I'm out going to the same places over and over, if I'm shooting the same thing over and over. That really is bad for me. So my goal in 2024 is to try to mostly go to new places, to shoot new things. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my favorites that of course I'm always going to go to, but instead of I don't really know where to go today, instead of just going somewhere I've already been, that'll be the days where it's hey, let's go out and try something new. So that is something for sure that I'm going to try to focus on in 2024. Also, where you're seeing me right here, this is my little office of my house. I do all my video editing on a computer right here. This is my little Mac Mini that I run and do my photos and most of the video editing. And what you're seeing me sitting in front of is where I do some of the other video stuff, where I have my nice microphone. This is my gaming PC. That is it's a beast of a machine, so it's really good at handling video and recording video, stuff like this too. And what you see directly behind me is also my work from home space. So I get to work from home 1 day a week now. I'm back in the office 4 days a week. But when I do work from home, it's at that station right behind where I'm recording this. And it's very cozy, I'll give you that. So I have a extra bedroom, again, right behind me. And it is currently set up as sort of a workout room. I've got a treadmill and an exercise bike and some resistance, stuff in there set up that I do not use as much as I should. And I was just kind of thinking about it the other day, and man, it's such a wasted space. So what I think I'm going to do next year is I'm going to get all of the workout stuff out of there, down into the basement, where I will still use it. But then that extra bedroom, I think I'm going to turn into just a dedicated photo studio where I can do all my YouTube stuff, like doing these recordings, so I'm not all just in one really small space. So that is something I'm going to try to do next year, is get a new little studio set up in the room over there. Yeah, and then I'm also wanting to do sort of a rebrand on the channel, as far as like some of the logos and the graphics. And you'll notice in my logos it says wildlife, weather, captured. And I would assume some people will be like, hey, what happened to the weather stuff? Are you not a storm chaser anymore? Like, it's all wildlife. There is no weather. And that is 100% true. But I will tell you this. In 2024, I am going to try to get out and get some storm chasing in. And it is content that I do want to try to shoot and do photos and do video for the channel. It's just those opportunities for me come up just so infrequently that it hasn't really been a main focus of the channel. Just because like this year in 2023, I took a full storm chase vacation. We call it a chasecation. That's the first time I had done dedicated time off for chasing in probably 3 or 4 years. And that week that I was off, there was absolutely nothing. There was nothing to chase. So there has not been any weather content on the channel. But I do want to add that stuff back, so we will see what happens next year. I'm looking over my little checklist here, so if you see me looking away. Next thing, traveling next year. I had mentioned the big trip I want to plan, and I'm just about to lock in, is Costa Rica next year for birding. This would be a photography trip, or a photography tour that I would book. So I would not be going just like on my own, like I would be part of a tour group, and that would be at the end of September into October. It's a 12-day tour, the one that I'm looking at. But if I'm going to lock that in, I have to do here probably in January or February coming up. So that is my big travel plan. There is also another trip that I am starting to look into, which would be going to the Northwest up on the Oregon coast, because there is that island up there where there are the tufted puffins. I think they're the tufted puffins, right? So I would love to go up there and try to photograph some puffins up there in the Pacific Northwest along Oregon's coast. So that's something I'm thinking about. I will almost certainly be going back to Arizona this spring. I'm not sure if that's going to be like a February or March kind of trip, but you can expect another good Arizona birding video coming up out of that later this spring. And yeah, I think that's about all I've thought of, at least for next year travel-wise. Last update, the dog Sebastian, as you know, he's been sick with that mystery dog illness. I would say he is at 95% back to normal. He has recovered. He is not really suffering from any of the symptoms of it anymore. Occasionally, he's still sneezing a little bit, but overall, I think he is pretty much back to normal. So it's a huge sigh of relief, because that has just been, like I said, dealing with that since the beginning of October has been a nightmare. So that is in good shape. So I don't know if there's going to be another video here before the end of the year. So I will take this time to again thank everyone who watched any of my videos this year, any new subscribers, anyone who has posted comments. I love the feedback. I love it. I love the interaction. It's always great talking with other photographers and just people who are interested in wildlife and photography. So I appreciate everybody who has watched the channel this year. And I will, I guess, sign off by saying happy holidays to everybody. If I don't have a new video out, I'm not sure if I will or not, but if I don't, have a great holiday, and I will see you everyone in 2024. Thanks for watching. Bye.